Our heart filled with love is like a phoenix that no cage can imprison. This is Rumi's words. The video is not about the cages we build around our heart, or rather how to not build a cage around our heart because of hurt, because of memories, because of fear. I grew up on a farm, and when I was about 12, 13 years old, there was a litter of two little pigs. The one was stillborn and the other one was very weak. I saw this little pig. I climbed into the enclosure and I picked him up, put him inside my jersey and went home with this little pig who was really almost lifeless. And my mother said, "Oh, he's not going to live." But I was adamant to help him. And I cleaned him and put him in a little shoebox in front of the fire. It was a coal stove. And this little pig, I got him. He pulled through and he became my pet. And this little pig thought he was a dog. So when we came home in the afternoons after we went to school, he would come with the dogs to the gate and make noises almost like barking. And he was part of the family. And one day I came home and he was not there to greet me. And at first I didn't think much of it, but later I was asking, where is Scroppies? And I could see my mom type of looking away, guilty. And then she said he was slaughtered because he went into my father's tomato garden. So they waited till I was at school for the farm worker to slaughter him. And adding to that, my mom said, if you're not going to eat the meat, you're not going to get anything else. That's what we're eating. That was a very traumatic experience, as you can imagine. I'm still talking about it today, but I'm talking about it today specifically because I want to use it as an example. If something like that, and there are much more tragic things that happen to us, things that hurt us, people that hurt us, things that are out of our hands, but it has a big effect on us, and it can lead to us closing our hearts to love, closing our hearts to loving certain persons or loving at all. We can even close our hearts against loving ourselves because of something traumatic that happens or something that we pick up and misinterpret as a child, not knowing how to handle it. I'm not going to use more examples. I think you get the picture, and you can recall things in your life, memories that might still hurt you. But let's go back to what Rumi said. A heart filled with love is like a phoenix that no cage can imprison. So as we grow on our spiritual path, as we are filled with the love that is source, we can't but rise again like a phoenix and break all these bonds, everything that encage our heart, that hinder us from loving 100% unconditionally. So how do we do that? How does that work? So there are three things. The first one is, ask yourself if you have a memory you have not dealt with, something that comes up that still hurts you, that might bring up feelings towards the people involved that hurt you, something you can't forgive, something you can't forget, something that make you sad when you think of that. Firstly, ask yourself, can I do something today? Can I do something to change that circumstance, the thing that happened. Most of the time, it is something that happened in the past that's gone and we can't do anything about it. Sometimes it is a relationship that we can repair by making amends with a person. So that's the first question. The second thing that we can do to change something that happened is to change our perspective about it. We can't change how we acted or what happened, but we can change our perspective about it. We can look at it from a different angle, an angle that does not hurt us or shows a bigger understanding, a deeper understanding. One where we maybe have compassion to the other people involved in the memory. The third thing we can do is that we can do some healing work. If it happened long ago when you were a child, you can do inner child healing work where you go back into the memory. And that also goes for memories that happened later that are painful. You go back to that memory in meditation and you change what happened in your mind. You first see what happened and then you see how you would have liked it to happen. And then you repeat that new story to yourself. Every time the memory comes up, you repeat the new story till that becomes the first story that comes up in your mind. You will still know on some level that this is a new memory created, but because it is the first thing that you recall when you think of that situation, it will start to bring a smile on your face. I've done that with painful memories and it does work. It truly works. You can, in that way, change your past. You change the memory. So that is the first thing that I wanted to talk about. The methods that you can use to change those memories, to change the way you think about it, change the way you see it. The second thing that is in your power to do to get rid of painful things in the past is to withdraw your attention from it. In other words, you don't give energy to it. You don't, if your thoughts go back to something like that, you just withdraw it, you redirect it. You can do this by just interrupting your thoughts with something really silly. Get something really weird, like a pink elephant. And when you go to that memory, you go to that situation that hurt you in your mind, you think of the pink elephant, and then you think of something else. Every time, because it is the energy we give something that keeps it alive. And the problem is, when we give energy to it, we actually resurrect that feeling, we resurrect that whole scenario, and it has an impact on our bodies because our brain does not distinguish between what happened then and what happens now if we bring the thought of that memory, of that thing that happened to the now. That is why if you think of eating a lemon, the mouth will start to water. Just like that, if you think of that memory, I guarantee you 100% you're going to start to feel bad. And then you're right back to when that happened and you are re-traumatized. And what happens is that some people keep those memories alive because they are so used to the pain, they're almost addicted to it. They are afraid if they let go of that memory that they will lose something about themselves. But that is a toxic way of living that is poisoning yourself. The third and last and most important thing is to live in the now. Live in the present moment, because this is the only moment you have. Tomorrow does not exist. When you are in tomorrow, it will be now. Don't live in the memories of the past. Bring your awareness to the now, because tomorrow you might say, why didn't I enjoy yesterday? And then you regret the past again. So how to get ourselves to really live in the now? Something that really helps is breath at different times during the day. Just concentrate a bit on your breath, and then you will be grounded in the present moment. So you can have different things during the day which you have programmed yourself to remind you of bringing your presence back to the now. You can also even set reminders on your phone that when the reminder goes off, you bring your awareness back to your body. Because sometimes we put our attention outwards, out there, for instance on the computer that we're working on, and we have to bring it back to ourselves. And lastly, I've talked about this in many of my videos, witnessing meditation. Now, we're talking about during the day, so I'm not talking about the meditation that you do in the mornings or the evenings or what time you set out for that. But at certain times during the day, take time, it can be only a few minutes, to observe, to specifically observe your surroundings. So when you bring your awareness to the present moment, that is the point where you feel the peace, the presence in yourself, the stillness that is always there, no matter everything else that's going on around you. So if you have perhaps built a cage around your heart to protect yourself, because you have been hurt before, because you have memories that make you feel fearful, unsafe because of what happened. When you free yourself from that, when you become present in the now, you become like the phoenix who rise and who love freely and who experience freely. You have the keys. You have the keys to that cage. No one else. You are in control. You make the choices of what to think of, where to put your energy, and what to not give any attention to anymore. I trust you found value in this. Please, if you have any questions, ask them in the comments, and you can also book a session with me if you need that. I'm sending you my infinite love till I speak to you again in the next video. Goodbye.